Hello? Can anyone around here speak basketball?
There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
Trust in Messiah. Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks
Basketball
Podcast.
Podcast.
I am your host, Freddie Rivas. And who, sir, are you?
I am the producer, Matt Duncan. Freddie, how you doing? We're in March now. Spring's just around the corner.
I'm doing good. Happy to be here. Happy to be podcasting with you. If you are just tuning in for the first time, we are a Raptors / NBA podcast. We're like hardcore fans, and we have analysts and comedians on and performers and basically anyone who's a basketball nut. So thank you for tuning in or for listening again. And yeah, Maddie, if people want to engage with us further, help us as a podcast, support local performers, how can they do that?
Well, if you're listening to us right now on your podcatcher, if you could give us a rating, a review, that would be amazing. I know for sure, always with the Apple Podcasts, we've been doing this podcast so long, we said rate on iTunes. No one says that anymore. Had to change all the stickers on our website because it said iTunes. It was outdated. So if you could do that, that'd be fantastic. If you're listening to it on a browser or if you're on YouTube, just give us a like and a subscribe. You can do a comment. We will get back to you. Thank you for that. And yeah, in our, Twitter and Instagram, we do have some links set up so that you can get to our Patreon very easily, as well as our podcast network, which is the Sonar Network. So check them out as well. And, I know spring's around the corner, but there's nothing like a dewy head that needs to be covered. We've got toques, folks. Let us know if you need the Confederacy of Dunks toque, and we'll get one right to you. Send us a message.
If Kessler Edwards was wearing a toque, maybe Yuta wouldn't have dunked on him with both hands. So, Matt, you're the best. Thanks for going along this ride for me and never forgetting about those precious toques. Matt has been through a lot, folks. Like he's changed the clicking of the links and the link tree and the it's
there's
a lot of back end stuff here, so we appreciate it. Today's really fun. We got Alan Shane Lewis from CBC Baking Show and a bunch of cool stuff. We also have Patrick Ronan Stewart, both hilarious, both like hardcore Raptors basketball fans and just great guests. And we talk, the progress of Precious. We talk, the Yuta dunk and other highlights of the Raptors season. And I also get them to order narratively what's the most exciting between G-State being back, Harden and Embiid tandem, Ja taking over, and the imminent return of Kevin Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray. And I also we riff on the popular game Poeltl and what other games we might do. A little bit of foreshadowing. Matt loves darts. I ain't talking about SIGs, okay? I'm talking about throwing darts.
That's true.
So very, very fun pod. And I think we're ready to kind of just jump in there. So again, thank you all for listening and please enjoy. And I'll say email your city councilors. We got some and provincial councilors. We got some big elections coming up. Matt's doing a finger dance.
That's emailing.
Email. Yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. I was like, what is he doing? An Edward Scissorhands? What's going on? Maddie's the greatest. You're all the greatest for listening. So we really, really appreciate it. It's the funnest part of the week every week. And with that said, enjoy the pod. Maddie, if you feel like we're good to go, just give me those sweet words. Okay. Okay, let's get rocking here. I'm very excited for this episode. 2 amazing guests. Let's bring on guest number 1. He's done this pod a healthy amount of times, like maybe less than 10, but I think, you know what? I don't know. I'm clearly guessing. He's a hilarious improviser, great stand-up, commercial actor, sketch comedian. He's one of the, probably best like gamesmen I know when it comes to the Raptors. Also really good at Fortnite. Give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Patrick Ronan Stewart.
Hi everyone, how are you? Oh, a powerful song for a powerful man. During that whole intro, I'm like, this could be for either me or the other guest. I was on my toes, but I'm very excited to be here. I love doing this podcast, and I love hanging out with my good friend Freddie. How are you, Freddie?
I am very good. I'm happy to have you here, and I often do the intros like that. Not on purpose, but I do find myself halfway through the intro being like, what is going on?
I love it. Yesterday I was hosting a folk music show, and I introduced someone as he's the cream of the crop, the peas, the corn, the bread, the figs, the whole meal. Put your hands together for Cameron Kirk. And that was the intro. And it was like, hey, how's it going? This song's about my dad. It's just very like somber. I'm like, all right. Intros are fun.
I thought you were going to say Kurt Cameron at the end there and make some biblical jokes, but
I don't do those.
Fair enough. Yeah. Let's stay away from the Bible.
And I never joke about the Bible.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's bring on guest number 2. He's amazing. He's done this pod a million times. He also rocks, but below the hardwood. You know him from CBC Baking Show. You should know him from the dunk off between Sonny Weems and DeMar DeRozan. He's just an incredible person, hilarious dude. Give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Alan Shane Lewis.
Video game music. I love it every time. Just me excited.
What's up? How you doing? Thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having me. I love doing this pod as well. And I too like figs and corn, and give it up for Kirk Cameron. I love all those things.
Like, I won't make any biblical jokes. I do believe in the rapture, and I won't be making fun of Mr. Cameron.
Listen, when you're left behind, we'll see who's laughing.
Okay,
I read those books.
I really appreciate you completing that bit.
I read those books. Refuse to watch those movies. Those Kirk
Left
Cameron.
Behind, 32 movie series.
A little preachy. I'm not gonna lie, a little preachy. Those
a bit preachy, somehow longer than Trapped in the Closet.
He's a little bit more preaching. Just a little bit.
Let us know what religion this is, sir. All right, let's start talking about our religion: basketball, Raptors. Maddie, good sir, I know you're back there. Why don't you give me your loudest, weirdest Raptors sting? That is weird. I asked for it, right? Okay, we got weird sound Foley going down here. Canada laughs. Shout out Dave Foley. So sorry, everybody. Okay, let's go straight to you, Alan. And yeah, just kind of like I'm curious what you think about the precious progress. Like, what's working for Achiuwa right now? Is it temporary? Is this part of like a growth? Isn't always linear, of course, but it seems like he's figuring some things out. Is it as simple as Nurse said, like he went to the Rising Stars game and just got a bunch of like confidence?
I think it's a couple different things, because it's his 3-point percentage is improved, so he's improved in that area. But I feel like Nick Nurse has been giving him a longer leash as far as what he can do, and he doesn't feel as scared to kind of, I have to put up immediately right away. But there is still an aggressiveness to his game, because even if you watched last night, he was taken to the rack a couple of different times, like right into the face of LaMarcus Aldridge. Like, he knew that like LaMarcus Aldridge cannot keep up with me, and then he plays within that. And if you can do that, you believe in yourself. Guess what happens? You get better different shots when the team starts clicking about, you're in the corner, you get that 3-point shot. So I think that's what was going to happen. Things have been working for the Raptors. He kind of found his self within everything, and he doesn't feel like if he messes up, he's going to go off immediately. So he's got to do a million and four things. I still wish that if he grabs the rebound in transition, he would give it to a point guard. But you know what? It's baby steps, at a time.
Certainly baby steps. And I've perhaps said this on the pod, but I mean, without actually knowing the full Raptors game plan, I definitely think they went into this year with this fully like egalitarian idea that was kind of like, hey, everyone on this team is the same. We all do everything. Shoot if you're open, dribble the ball up, make a play. And then about like 10 games in or so, they were like, okay, let's just revise that a bit. Precious, chill when you bring up the ball. Boucher, don't bring up the ball. Birch, also don't bring up the ball. And yeah, I think like that's sort of, it's almost like, Precious is so over the top as far as he just has a crazy amount of skills that are not refined. And it's like, he's getting to that part of his game where things are becoming a bit more refined. Actually on William Liu's podcast, he was able to interview, oh dear, I'm blanking out a little bit here. He was rhymes with Thorn. I'll figure it out in a second. So it's a big basketball personality who was
supremacy.
What's that?
Jason Bourne.
It's Jason Bourne. But no, it'll come to me in a sec. But what I'm trying to say is he was comparing Scotty, of course, to like Giannis and Kawhi, and it's like, oh my god, this is crazy. But the more specific comparison was Precious to Udonis Haslem. And he kind of walked through how Udonis pretty much didn't shoot the ball in 4 years of college. But when he came into the league, the approach he had was sort of like, hey, you just have to be a really solid, good defender, and we'll work in the other parts of your game later. And I feel like we're seeing that a little bit with Precious. Roundabout way to get there. But yeah, where are you at, Patrick? Like, what's the Precious progress you notice or don't notice?
I think we should start running ISOs through him. I think every third possession we should just do ISO on the bit, like just let him cook.
50% usage?
100%. No, 100%. I think the thing with Precious is that we kind of forget that this is his second year in the league, first year with our system. He's a young, big guy with a lot of potential, and that usually means there's a lot of mistakes happening, and we're seeing these mistakes happen now. I think that we kind of started this year thinking we're going to have a rebuilding year, and that's a perfect fit for Precious, but we're winning games. So it's not the starting center that we need, but it could be what we are, or that we want, but with time and with patience, he could be what we need. The thing that I was thinking about is Robert Williams. I was thinking about him with the Celtics and how in the past couple of years he's just been so frustrating to watch. Like, he'll do something amazing and then do something super stupid, and I feel like that's what Precious does. But right now there's more stupid than good. So I think it's a waiting to see stupid and good even out, and maybe good gets more than stupid. I think that the upside for Precious is huge, and the downside is he's the guy we can put on the floor. It feels a little house money at this point.
I totally agree. It's like fully house money. And I think, yeah, sometimes, when teams are better than you think, it's easy to get carried away and be like, okay, so start to get disappointed at Banton or Precious or whatever. And it's like, we're the youngest team in the NBA. So
yeah,
it's all the young people developing is like fully house money. Scotty is whatever analogy goes further than house money. Yes, found money. Does that work? But yeah, like just the draft equity and all that kind of stuff is fully just like a total gift particularly when you remind yourself like stuff like that Precious is in the second season. And if the Raptors lose in the first round, it's kind of part of the trajectory.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think things are good. Precious getting better. Let's move on to question number 2 here. Let's stick with you, Patrick. And yeah, so we blew out Brooklyn last night after getting blown out twice. And for anyone listening to this podcast, I'm talking about the first game in Brooklyn. When you're listening to this podcast, the doubleheader will be complete. Hopefully we won again, and hopefully everything went well at Scotiabank. But yeah, the Yuta dunk, like it was such a massive dunk. It was 2 hands. He fully crowned the dude whose name I'm also forgetting right now. But is that the best Raptors highlight of the season? And if not, what is your, what's another highlight that comes to mind?
I'm happy that Yuta got his soul back. Like,
Yes.
like in Dark Souls, when you die, you have to rekindle your soul, and you're like, "Oh, I'm back to normal." I feel like he did that after the Anthony Edwards dunk. He's a real boy now. I love it. I love Yuta. I feel like he's gonna go down in Raptors fans' memories as like one of the most beloved ones, like a Jamario Moon type, like a Pop Mensah-Bonsu.
Oh man, you just said my favorite phrase right there, man. Pops Mensah-Bonsu, love that.
I love Pop Mensah-Bonsu.
Yeah,
I also love that like in Russia he was like the Garnett. It's
just killing it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's like dunking on guys' souls. He was a soul collector in Russia, I bet.
Exactly.
Sorry.
But with the Yuta dunk, like what I was thinking about, like top highlights, the first thing that came to mind was just Scotty Barnes' smile. That's my top highlight, just his winning smile. And this wasn't from a player, but I do like how the Raptor made Devin Booker nervous. So those are my 2 highlights, more impressive than Utah's nasty slam.
I really appreciate you coming in with the Raptor making Booker nervous. That should never be forgotten. And 100% was a big highlight. What about you, Alan? What's your like your highlight of the year for the Raptors?
Highlight of the year for the Raptors was the single game that I've been to so far, and it was against the Nets, and it was Scotty Barnes just ripping the ball out of Kevin Durant's hand and then taking it all the way down there. Like, just picked his pocket, left nothing left there for him. It's just so great to see. I'm just so on the Scotty Barnes train. I love it when he has that like breakaway kind of move, and then he looks back at the defender, and then he just dunks it while looking at them. I love it. I don't want him to stop doing it. I hope he doesn't get a taunting call because it's just so much fun, and I hope they don't, just take out his light, extinguish his light, because I think that's where you want to play basketball. You want to play with competitive edge. You want to play with energy. You want to play just with just this raw kind of anger, and I think he does it so well, and he plays it so well, and we don't even have to drum up plays for him. The guy just goes out there and instant energy. Affects the defense, affects the offense, and he's just been the best glue guy that a Raptor fan can ask for right now.
Yeah, he's incredible, and Scotty, I think like has a healthy amount of his his dunk where he got pushed into the stands comes to mind for me, and yeah, just like he's had so many ridiculous highlights, and I feel like a moment like that with Durant. If you're not excited about a young prospect, like after a moment that's as crazy as that, I'm not sure what to tell you, because like staring down a great and yanking the ball away from them is what other greats do. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, it's one of those moments that is just ridiculously exciting. Mine's a pretty specific moment. Fred kind of lost his dribble. I think it might have been against Washington, but he put it behind his back, and like he went full Harlem Globetrotter for like 2 seconds. And it was one of those moments where like the whole defense was rocked, that they kind of were stunned and didn't move. And then he just hit the shot. And it was kind of like, it seems like with defenses as good as in the NBA, that like moments like that are not possible, where everyone just stands still and they're like, are you going to finish me off? Like it was one of those moments where the person was like, all right, do your babality, or do your whatever finishing move on me.
Your first one was the baby one.
I did go straight to the babality. I don't know why.
Babality.
Either that or when you go down to Reptile's lair, it's cool.
Yeah.
Shit.
I often like to end fights with babality, just turning people into babies and just like sucker.
Totally.
Good
Yeah,
luck with
you-
object permanence, you piece
Yeah,
of
you,
shit. Fucking.
you want a
stupid.
sucker like a baby does? I'm a caregiver. Okay, I think I think we hit some big moments there. I usually just bring in Matt for one question, but Matty, I'm curious. Is there a favorite Raptors moment for you too? Sorry, I'm throwing you on the spot a
that
bit here.
fifth game Dragic played. No, I would say, boy, what was one of my favorite moments of this year so far? I think the. Oh boy, I don't know, Fred.
I put you on the spot.
I don't know.
This is
Now
what
all
it
I can
looks
think
like
about
when
is
someone's on the
Dragic.
spot. You know
Game
what,
one Dragic.
Matty? I'll let it simmer for you.
Yeah, let
And,
me come back to you in the next segment.
if something comes to mind. But with that, Matty, you're gonna stay here anyways because we're gonna get really silly. So let's move to some NBA. Please, good sir, give me your weirdest, loudest NBA sting.
This is Adam Silver.
Horns are out today. Sorry for anyone in Ottawa hearing this.
Yeah, I was gonna say Adam Silver did not know he was part of the convoy.
I think that sting is forever changed because we're 2 for 2.
I know that's true.
2 pods in a row where every time that sting comes up, people are like convoy.
I do think that's a tugboat, though. I do think that's a tugboat. Hong Kong.
It is,
That's
but
true.
not anymore. You know,
Tugboats are canceled now. So.
No,
Yeah,
Alan,
they're
take
done.
that back.
Nah, they're fucking done, dude.
Yeah.
Tugboats are the least nationalist vehicle I can think of. Tugboats
Don't-
are united with everyone. There's
Don't
there's
make
no
the rules.
hatred on a tugboat.
There's so much hatred now. It's like the most hatred of all the boats.
We've been on different tugboats, I guess.
I guess so. My
Wow.
hateration tugboat, and you're just, good. I don't know where I was going. With
I don't know where you're going,
fun
but
time
I'm
happiness.
just hanging
man.
out with old timey Mickey Mouse.
this analogy, I'll take it a bit further. It's the Titanic, and I'm going to be the guy that plays the violin and slowly dies.
I want to be Billy Zane.
You want to be Billy? I like wanting to be the person that like messes shit up.
Listen, women and children first. Not to me. You know what I'm saying?
How about shotgun the guy that falls into the propeller? Huh? Okay. Poor gentleman. I guess.
Poor
Okay.
gentleman.
Let's go to you first, Alan, on this one. For anyone that doesn't know Wordle, I mean, congratulations for not being on the internet. And for anyone that doesn't know Poeltl, that's okay because that's a step further than Wordle. It is a word, of course, that rhymes with Wordle. It's a trivia game where you have to pick basketball players and then kind of navigate from there. It's not a spelling thing. It's more so like basketball clues, like division, height, position. It's pretty fun. And it's it's sort of taken the basketball world by storm. And with that said, I'm just kind of curious. Starting with I think am I starting with you, Alan? Is that what I said? What is like the perfect basketball game for you? Like if you had to introduce some kind of basketball game to the masses, what would it be?
Ooh, perfect basketball game. I'm gonna say NBA 2K2, just because I'm realizing that nostalgia is the only way to defeat the pandemic. So that game, actually no, I'd take it back. College Hoops 2K7. I think that's probably the best basketball game. I know this is probably not the correct answer to this.
Hey, it works.
But
listen, people are rolling out Fresh Prince like serious versions. So who am I to tell you that you can't bring in some nostalgia here?
All right. College Hoops 2K7, because it was so cool. You could like get a player from like junior and high school, recruit them, go visit them at school, bring them to your school, and then make your school into like one of the biggest things. And I used to love taking like a random team from Buffalo, New York, and then make them to the bring them to the March Madness finals every single year. And I used to take that team and then import those players from the draft class into NBA 2K7, and I just had me a time. I had me a good time.
That's like the conduct. Like if you're like an old man that's like designing trains in your basement, like that's your version of that.
Oh yeah, I could do that for hours without like my loving family, above me. I'm just in the basement there, just like hours on hours doing that. That's what brings me joy.
What's Alan doing down there? Oh, I think it's a mixture of He Got Game and an appreciation of upstate New York.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of those.
yeah, I do that stuff too. Like I remember I spent like a week making a league of all J.R. Smiths. Like I just changed every single player to J.R. Smith in like 2K19 for no one. For me, actually.
Every single highlight's just like, we just saw a man fly. We just saw another man fly. We just saw yet another man fly. Shit, Marv Albert's broken. Poor Marv.
Just all threes and dunks, nothing else.
What's your Patrick? What's your game either that exists or you're making up, or like what would you introduce or reintroduce like Alan did to the masses?
So I'm really into nerdy basketball stuff, and I got really into Dungeons and Dragons over the pandemic too. So I made 2 specifically nerdy basketball games involving random dice spins. One's like a head-on-head matchup game where like I'll pick a player and then you'll pick a player and then we'll pick a number between 1 and how many seasons that player had played. So like let's say Shaq, he has like 20 seasons or whatever. So we roll between 1 and 20, and the number you get is the year of Shaq you get. So like you could get Laker Shaq in 01, or you could get like Cavs Shaq and you would lose that matchup. Or like you get Durant, you could have an injury year, which is bad, or you could have any other of the years. So yeah, so that's one that I thought of.
That's a lot of fun.
And the other one I thought of was a random number between 0 and 55, and that's jersey numbers. So and they say who has the best 5-man roster based off their jersey numbers.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like this is a fine place. I don't know if it's like fully running yet, so I don't want to do like spoilers for you, but that seems like a fun idea for your pod, which is all about drafting.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't want to spill the beans for you, but Patrick rocks a pod that's all about drafting. I did it. It was awesome. So hopefully we get more episodes there. And yeah, that would be a great like episode concept for sure.
Yeah. I love fun. I love those fun NBA games with all history stuff. That's I could do those for hours. Like all those Instagram ones, like you have $15 to build a team. I will like spend a week on that.
Yeah. Although you want to know what I saw someone tweet this. You want to know what I don't like is when I'm watching a game and it's like, do you want to play trivia? Like on the side of my screen,
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to get out of here.
Get the fuck out.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna snap. And like, I like this, but I don't like this right now. I have my whole thing figured out for the game. Okay.
Yeah, it's like 1/4 of your screen is like, huh? You want to?
Yeah, I don't like it at all. Like, and it's because I know the NBA is trying to work us all into becoming like bigger gamblers. Fair enough, do your thing, but also leave me alone as well.
I have a quick question to the group. So like as basketball fans, and I assume we all know a lot about basketball. Do people ask you like trivia questions and then get really upset when you don't know the answer? Like I was seeing someone and then she did like, oh Pat, I like made this whole trivia game for you. I'm like, oh cool. And every single basketball thing I got wrong. It was like, who's the first player in the 2000s to score 40 points? And I'm like, Kobe. And she's like, Antoine Jameson. You should know that. I'm like, you don't know who Antoine Jameson is.
I saw this name wrong too.
I find that happens the most for me anyways with like if it's like shoe related stuff,
Yeah.
or like they did this at a club type thing, like I feel like I found out about like anything related to like Tristan Thompson, like not from hardcore basketball fans. Like it's always someone be like, "Did you hear what Tristan Thompson did?" And I'm like, "Oh, what? I think he's been benched for 2 years straight." And then and then someone will be like, "Oh, well, he did this like specific thing in a club," and I'm like, "Oh, wow, that's like pretty rough." You know what I mean? Like, because I never know what like what my take should be besides like, "Oh yeah, that seems not nice."
Yeah, no, Tristan Thompson cheats like he averages a double-double, like a
Yes.
60-point double-double. Like he's out there. I'm like, buddy, the way you act and the way you move, I'm like, yeah, you gotta up your percentages in a lot of different ways to feel comfortable to do that. Like I don't understand this guy's kind of mentality a lot of the times.
It's like, wow, Tristan Thompson caught cheating at the Panama Games. He was playing for Canada. Okay, I don't know. That analogy fell apart. I'm so sorry for everyone that he's hurt. Okay, who was next here? Was it? Oh,
Can I just give a real game now? I realize what the game was.
Sure.
The one we played on the pod. I wish I could finish editing it, but it was whose lineup is it anyways? And it's basically looking at NBA players' lineups and hair, and then guessing who the player was.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Like with I was having a hard time saying his name ever since he played for us. Poeltl. I hate that they have the silhouette option.
Oh yeah,
because like I see it and I instantly know it, and like I get mad that I instantly know it. I'm like, man, I spend way too much time memorizing these man's heads.
Yeah, don't the silhouette for me is a no-go. It's like you're not even playing the game if you're doing silhouette. Like just because to me it's like I've played it on the pod before. It's like guess that roster. That's what I enjoy is like the NBA depth. But yeah, I think have I gone to you yet, Maddie, for your game?
No.
Okay.
No, you haven't, yeah.
What's up, dude? What's your game?
Well, you know, Pat said that he had a game that he kind of fell in with during the pandemic. For me, it was darts. Darts kept me going.
Okay.
Okay, and a specific game of darts called cricket. That's the game I like to play. Now, what I'd like to do is take that game cricket and move it over to basketball. Now, I'll try to explain it real quick, but really what it is like there's 6 numbers on the dartboard. You've got to hit them all 3 times before the other guy does. That's how you win. That's pretty much the game. So in basketball, we'll have 5 or 6 different places set up, one being the free throw line, a bunch around the 3-point line, and then the bullseye would have been a half-court shot. And you have to hit each one of those spots 3 times, and the person to do it all first wins. And there's points involved and stuff. We'll wait to get it all approved with silver first because it's a half-court game, a halftime game. But yeah, I'd like to do that because I just really like playing cricket darts.
I thought your game was going to be, so I like darts, so we're going to throw darts at Royce O'Neal. That's the game.
The game is just to pop the Raptor when it blows up into that.
I truly did not know where that was going. And I feel like even halfway through, I was like, I still don't know where this is going. Yeah, is this like a dart attack type scenario? You never know with Matt.
Type scenario, like there's multiple dart attack scenarios.
There's art attack, right? So you're doing art, and then there's dart attack.
That's the dart.
Equal amounts PVA glue, though.
Yeah, and you always got to appreciate the garlic vampire. Cheers, good sir. Okay, my game is I'm sorry, I'm just blanking out because I'm thinking about Matt's game. Okay, so yeah, check this out. It's a little bit in Alan's world of like pre-existing like video games. So my game is like I want to find a way to like sort of pretend settle the score about like, well, if Shaq played in the 70s, doodly dee, and if Steph played in the 50s, doodly dum.
Yeah,
like
stop
it's sort
talking
of
to leprechauns.
Yeah,
What's
for real,
that?
dude.
You have to stop talking to all those leprechauns.
I really do. Yeah. But Leprechaun in the Hood, sick movie. Not gonna lie. No, but like I want to make some sort of algorithm that's kind of like, this is what it would be like if LeBron was playing against Jordan. Like, these are like, based on the rules of the time, et cetera, et cetera. Like, some way to kind of like factor those things in. Because one thing I feel like is just always lost in those conversations is if, it's kind of like if MJ played now, no one factors in the fact that like he'd be shooting threes and like people would know it's MJ and they would like triple team him in ways that he was never ever triple teamed. Or for instance, like if Steph was playing in the 90s, like someone would try to break his wrist. And I think like stuff like that would happen. So I'd like some way for that to kind of like play out. And yeah, it'd be like basically like a simulator sort of thing.
Oh,
Mhm.
was that that show on Spike TV, Ultimate Warrior or something like that?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
gotta do that for basketball
Yeah.
eras. Yeah.
This is exact ultimate like Time Lord basketballer
You
or
know,
something like
I
that.
want to see the Bad Boy Pistons versus the Yakuza. I want to see that matchup. I think
Oh yeah,
I
you're just
think
like
it will be close.
you're taking it out of basketball. It's like George Mirasan versus Lennox Lewis. George Mirasan goes down from a gut punch. Sorry, George Mirasan.
He's got to get one.
He's got to get
Yes,
one. Yeah?
that's right.
Okay, let's keep this baby rolling. Next question. Let's start with you, Pat. And I don't know if these are equal necessarily, but just give me an order of like your excitement of these kind of like emerging narratives. They're at different stages, obviously. One is Ja just taking over the league with highlights and also like, just a wildly explosive campaign. Denver on the verge of getting back Kevin Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray. I don't know like how on the verge, but it seems like they're working out. Harden and Embiid clicking again, very early, looks good. And then, this one's sort of like has been happening all year, but they have the second best record in the league. So I think it's fair to say that, G State is back. There's about like 20 some odd games. So you give me like a 1 to 4, like this is the most exciting, this is the least exciting.
I think Ja's the most exciting for sure. It's very exciting to watch someone's my player from 2K in real life. Like it looks like when your dude's like 99 overall and you gave him all the layup packages and all the dunk packages, and it's just like it's unfair. It's so exciting. I get so nervous though. I get so nervous.
Yeah.
Because it's like the similarities with Rose are there and with West, and it's like, man, with one injury, like it could all come crashing down, and it's just so exciting. And like I really wish it was possible if they win the NBA championship. It won't, because they're the Grizzlies and they're who they are. But imagine if that is, and then this memory of Ja is just in our heads forever. Like, God, it's so exciting. And then I say number 2, I say Denver, because that Denver team is so good with those two pieces playing at a serviceable level.
Mm-hmm.
And they need them. Like, that team is kind of running on tape and staples at this point. They're playing well, but God, those two players just complement Jokic so well. I'm a big Jokic fan. I think he's a very, very once in a lifetime player. And to see his prime sort of being wasted without these two players that just complement him so well is kind of is very heartbreaking. I'm not sure if it's going to come together like that, but I'm hoping next season they do figure it out, because God, for that short period of time last season when they were rolling with Aaron Gordon, that was a phenomenal team to watch. And then the next two, like with Embiid and Harden working, and also with Golden State, I kind of look at those being like, yeah, no shit. like
Fair.
Harden's very good at basketball. Embiid's very good at basketball. They both just want to win. They both have very separate roles. And it just seems to make sense. Like even last year with the Nets, Harden just kind of was like, all right, I'm the point guard now. This is sick. And I think the reason why it didn't work out was because he's like, wait a minute. So one of my players won't play half the games and the other's injured. I want to hoop good basketball. Let me just go play with a good basketball player. And that makes sense. And then with Golden State, it's like, I know they had a bad season, but like last year, Steph was like top scorer in the league.
Yeah.
And Kerr's a good coach. Like if you look at that roster from top to bottom, it's like, this is a really good team. I think that because they went from the top to the bottom, and I think that made people go like, oh, what happened to Golden State, blah, blah, blah. But they're just like a good team. They're built to win, and they're winning.
Yeah, well said. Like so many good points. I think the one thing I'll just touch on, and I actually agree with you. I am holding my breath for Ja like all the time. I find myself holding my breath for Embiid too. But with Ja, the one thing I feel like, I'm seeing the Rose comparison, I get it. The Wall comparison, I get it. The one person I'm kind of, I think is an interesting comparison is Westbrook. And Westbrook's someone who, he had major injuries and he still won the MVP. He still had one of the best dunks of the year this year. So I think he never refined his game, but he's kind of maintained a lot of his explosiveness, in my opinion. Like for as far as like you think about a guy like Rose or Wall, or someone who's like everything's predicated on their just like otherworldly athleticism. I'd even throw in a guy like, this is a painful moment for Raptors fans, and obviously he's not like a star, but TJ Ford was always a guy for me where everything was predicated on his super speed. And when he got that awful injury, it just enough of that went away or something, and it kind of just really took away from his overall game. So in that sense, I'm kind of optimistic about Ja's longevity. However, yeah, it's definitely, it's definitely a thing. Like I saw Alan on Twitter actually just talking a little bit about like part of it is I don't want to steal your words from you, Alan, but like, is learning those skills. Here, I'll just say, this is just me learning those skills when you don't need to have them. I think is like it takes so much foresight. Like I even think about a guy like Dwight Howard. He didn't really prepare for a life where he can't just crown people. And then like once it got to that point, it was sort of like where he couldn't do that anymore. It was kind of like, oh man, this is like, what's your plan? Yeah. Okay. I went on forever there, but so many good points, Patrick. Alan, what's your order for this?
Yeah. I think Ja taking over is great. I think we're seeing in real time a player just like actualizing, like self-actualizing, like become the person who he knows he is inside. And it's very rare that we get to see it this early in the season or in his career, I would say. Like usually you see the explosiveness and all the great highlights, but they're actually winning like, big games and in a very good way. And yeah, to that point, Freddie, yeah, when, like a player like Ja, like not to like kind of put pressure on like this kind of guy and like of an injury that's going to happen, but like, yeah, you have to kind of relearn how to play basketball in so many different ways and how to be a force that can contribute without just blowing by somebody with that quick first step. You have to figure out different ways. And it doesn't happen a lot with athletic point guards. Like they don't figure it out. Like it's mostly like shooting guards and small forwards. Like I was also saying another thing about like LeBron James and like Michael Jordan. There's a point in their careers where they're like, wait a minute, I like being faster, but I also want to be stronger. And then they go into that low post and they can just kind of body people and kind of figure things out. I don't know if that's the trajectory for Ja Morant. Like he needs to kind of learn from other players who've made it this long, like CP3 or Jason Kidd. They have to extend that 3-point shot, get that mid-range bunny, and then just stay on path with his playmaking ability, because Russell Westbrook kind of refused to kind of change his game. He's kind of always predicated on the fact that he's faster and stronger than the person in front of him. Yeah. And guess what? When you're the same speed sometimes and a player's smarter, know how to like get the position, it doesn't always work out for you. So it's Russell Westbrook he's a great player, but he's also kind of a case study of like what not to do when you kind of
Yeah.
when the game ages, you got to age with it and kind of figure out your
Aging
placement.
superstar.
Yeah,
Hard to coach.
it's hard. It's hard because once again, you've been the best player in your team for your entire life, and no one's ever told you to change. And now it's like now you're not the best player. Now you have to figure out how to still kind of give back to your team without kind of sucking out minutes and not producing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that whole team's great. I'm so happy for them. Jaren Jackson, Steven Adams. Oh my God, what a sneaky good pickup. You're just getting a guy that just knows how to just grab the boards and just like set the picks and get his when he needs to. But just a very simple kind of center that you kind of need out there, and this really anchors them defensively. And Brandon Clark's doing great too, and even Zaire Williams. It's just a fantastic squad to look at.
Yep. Dylan Brooks.
Brooks, yeah, but when he comes back from injury,
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's they're gonna be clicking.
Plus, they got rid of Grayson Allen. It's a feel good,
Yeah.
feel good scenario.
And they got Conchar in there. They're shooting threes, man. He's good too. Number 2, I'm gonna differ from Pat, and I'm gonna go to Embiid and Harden. I'm gonna say that's the hot ticket item right now. I've been adamant. I don't know why on Below the Hardwood, like those other guys were saying like, "Yo, man, it's not as good." I'm like, you have 2 top 10 players in the NBA. It will figure itself out in some way, shape, or form. Like, and we saw it in that game against the Knicks. You got to foul these guys. You can't stop them from scoring. If you're going to stop them from scoring, you're going to have to foul them. And these guys are knockdown foul shooters. So late in games, you're going to get your star players in foul trouble. They're going to get the buckets that they want to get to. And they did it all while keeping Maxey. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh man, they lost Seth Curry. But I admit, losing Seth Curry is huge. But you also got James Harden. So now you have another 3-point shooter who can get it off the dribble and not necessarily off of picks and stuff like that. So that team is a very interesting team to watch. And now that they got DeAndre Jordan, guess who's going to love that? James Harden off the pick and roll at the top. He's going to give alley-oops to him, and it's just going to be up and down for him. So that's great for him. And Denver, yeah, it's Jamal and MPJ coming back. I think that's huge. I think it's huge. I truly believe that Nikola Jokic is the most disrespected MVP of, like, I don't know, at least around the modern era, where he's not
Wes
getting love.
Unseld.
I'm a big Wes Unseld fan. And let me tell you.
Let me tell you about his outlet pass.
That's modern still.
It was in color, I think. But it's wild. They don't want to give him the keys to this kingdom. They don't want to give him the reins. They don't want to give him the praise that we're gonna have to give him 20 years from now. Like, he's been doing so well with so little, and he's got that team working so great. You have Monte Morris shooting lights out there. What's his name? Will Barton doing great. And now that you get your point guard back after about a season and a bit, that's huge. So any type of help that can come back there and some reinforcements, that'll be good. And watch out for Denver in that playoffs, because they could probably take you to 7 or even beat you. And G State back. Yo, I'm sorry, man. I don't like Golden State fans. They were kind of annoying me right now. They had like a 2-game losing streak or whatever, some bullshit, and they are just crying. They were like, "Oh man, you gotta fire Steve Kerr, man. Steve Kerr's trash, man. Just name me a coach who wouldn't win with his roster." I'm like, bro, you guys don't know how good you got it. They have no idea how good they got it. How many finals appearances, 3 chips in a small span. These guys revolutionized the way they played basketball. It's just selfless. Looks like soccer out there. There's boom, 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 triangles everywhere. It's just so beautiful to watch. And they're going to trash on Steve Kerr for late game rotations. It's like they're mad that they have Steph Curry in, like, that one game where they lost to the Denver Nuggets. And they're like, why is Steph Curry still on the court? I'm like, I think it's a worse look to take Steph Curry off of the court in the last minute of the game. I think that's if something bad were to happen, they go, well, why is Steph Curry out there? Like, I think that's going to be the conversation that's going to be with reporters. So I don't know. Golden State, they're an amazing team. They had 2 bad years, boo-hoo, and now they're back. And these fans need to understand how great they got it. They got to be appreciative of the moment, because it could be gone. It could be gone, and then you're back to Jay Rich and Baron Davis and going second round. So it as fast as it can come and fast as it can go. So they need to appreciate that.
Alan, great points all around. Just before I comment on those points, before I forget, the guy I was trying to I was saying that rhymed with Thorn is David Thorpe. So it doesn't really rhyme with Thorn.
If you're Eminem, that can rhyme.
Yeah, hamburger slamburger.
Terrible impression.
Weird Eminem thing, but
man, this Eminem.
one of the first times I ever saw Eminem in like a video, he was like, hamburger, whamburger, slap you with the slam burger. And everyone was like, oh, and I'm like, I don't know if that's material.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny. But anyways, and the other guy is oh dear, I was just looking at it. Kessler Edwards got dunked on by Yuta. So I'm like almost fully in agreement with you guys. I have Golden State fourth. I have Denver third as well. Totally agree on all the Jokic stuff. It's downright strange. I think we're kind of going through. I think in this era, there's like a vacuum. I've said it a million times with LeBron and Golden State kind of weakening. There's this idea that like, the Durant has to be the best player, or like it's like you're trying to hold on to something that was the case maybe 2 years ago. But I mean, I think it's Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid, and I'm not even sure who number 4 or 5 is. But like I think it's that's kind of like where the power rests in the NBA.
It just seems cool that there's like 10 best players. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
It's a parody. It's a time of parody in the league.
It's awesome.
And I think also like the fact that those are 3 international players sort of doesn't fit with the usual like media narrative. Like I think people want there to be like this American, like the best player to be American, and
it's like they're trying to make this. It's like it's so weird that the media is saying this one thing, and then the NBA and Adam Silver is like, we're trying to expand the game across the globe. It's like, well, then how about you use those ambassadors like Luka Doncic and these people, and put them up there, and then let's see what that that does. I truly believe you could make commercials with Giannis. And Giannis is a delightful human being. I think you would love it. And Embiid is just like so funny. So it's like, why wouldn't you want to push these guys to the forefront of your league and kind of prop them up to become the next superstars?
Also, Luka and Jokic are so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of those dudes are so funny. And Durant sucks.
Nothing. He gives you nothing every single
He's
time.
Like he's like Joaquin Phoenix. Like he's the Joaquin Phoenix of the NBA. And LeBron James, we've seen the second Space Jam movie. We all did. We went to the theaters opening day, all 4 of us, and that sucked.
Yeah, I totally
put Luka and Jokic in a UCB class, and then get them out there.
Let's get those boys in some heralds, shall we? No, I mean, I totally agree. Like I was just saying on Twitter before this pod started, I think the NBA is still kind of trapped in this, like, who's the next MJ style marketing, and it needs to embrace that it's a global sport and go the way of soccer. Like, don't market around the fact that there's 10 superstars and that's all that matters. Like we're done. The Phoenix Suns and the Bucks are 2 like very well-rounded teams. They were in the finals. The 2 super teams this year are the Nets and the Lakers, and they're hopefully going to be in the play-in. So I think like we need to like roll. We need to adapt with what's happening, like, or the NBA does. And just to finish my order, I'm going to put actually the Sixers number 1. Only because I like these moments in the NBA where it seems like everyone's ready to win. And I feel like that's the case with Philly. Doc has been kind of like slammed forever. Embiid has been slammed forever. And Harden has been slammed forever.
They're probably the most slammed.
Yeah. Like they're like really, their legacy is so, I mean, Embiid's going to go on for a long time, but like there's just the legacy part of this. This is like really has a lot of weight. And like, Ja is my number 2, but like you guys have him number 1. So it's like, I think that's fair, but I think that's it for the pod, guys. I think we made it. Thank you both so much for doing it. This was a good episode. And Maddie D. Oh my God, Maddie D. Do you want to pop in here and tell people?
Yeah, I've got my favorite moment of the season.
Good choice.
I really enjoyed Gary Trent Jr.'s 5-game 30+ point streak that he had. Not just what he was doing in the game and how fun it was to watch. And you got LeBron starting to say we need to get him and all this stuff. I love it when LeBron wants to get one of our players, but also the press conferences after. His style, his demeanor, everything was fantastic about it. It was so funny and enjoyable. And I feel like it was like that moment in the season where we like exhaled that
Mhm.
Tampa season again. Finally, that's what I think.
Well, Matt, well said. And let me just add on to your point. A fun addition to that was every time they would show Gary Trent Sr., he was just like fully styling out. And for whatever reason, Alvin Williams is just like won't let the guy eat in peace. Like every time he's eating something, Alvin Williams like, look at that guy eating again. And it's like, Alvin, like take it easy on
There's
this
a
guy.
game
Like
going on.
he's done, man. He's done playing, and he's watching his son. He's eating some peanuts. Like shit, dude.
How dare he.
But they're teammates, so it's all good. But yeah, guys, that's the pod. Maddie, thanks for coming in and dropping your fave moment that I sprung on you. But Pat, let's go to you first. I saw you posting the other day just about the shows you got going on in March. So yeah, let people know where they can find you and where you want them to see you.
This podcast comes out in 5 seconds from now, right?
Yeah, it's immediate.
Cool. Okay, so I'm doing one tonight, but don't worry about it because that's in the past.
Mhm.
I got a bunch of social capital theater shows this month. So if you want to see some improv in the East End, come on down this Saturday the 5th. Past and never future guest #ban Matt McCready from the podcast. I'm doing his show Beer at 8 p.m. on Saturday.
Great show.
And then on Friday the 18th, I'm doing a show called Friday Night Confessionals, where me and extremely talented musician Rachel Raditz will be improvising songs with a looper. It's a lot of fun. You might see me
Cool.
rap, but I don't like rapping. That's just talking. I want to sing. And then Thursday the 24th, catch me in my fantastic improv troupe, the Harrison Ford Focus, on a show about your ex at the Capitol Theater.
Sick, dude. You're back at it. Everyone go see Patrick. He's hilarious and also really nice and like welcoming and shit. So it's like you get a triple bonus.
Also, if anyone has any good basketball book recommendations, I'm going on a flight next month, and just shoot me a DM with a basketball book at Pat Ronan 2022.
I think it was like a basketball and other things. Shea Serrano's book.
Yeah, I have that one.
Yeah, I like that.
Sick.
I have the making of Eddie if you want to borrow it.
Oh,
Matt coming in here with
Eddie Curry, right?
Eddie references. Like you'll never stop, eh? Like, honestly, have you seen Eddie, Matt? I want to know. Like if you told me you hadn't seen Eddie, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean?
I haven't.
You haven't? I know you haven't. I knew it. Like, oh god.
Oh, the Whoopi Goldberg.
The old Whoopi Goldberg, Nick.
I remember
Nick,
this.
It's like,
Nick Superfan becomes coach. Come on, what
Yeah.
a great story.
Matt read the synopsis and he just riffs on that for years.
Yo, I'll watch it before I watch Space Jam.
I bet you will.
back to back.
Okay, Alan, what's up? CBC Baking Show, but like tell everyone everything. Shoeless Lewis.
Yeah. Follow me on socials, the Alan Shane Twitter, Alan Shane Instagram, Shoeless Lewis on Twitch and Twitter. I've been playing the Vice City game, but we're gonna be playing the other Grand Theft Autos. You can stream Great Canadian Baking Show on CBC Jam and Netflix for season 4. Roast battles on Crave, and then something. Actually, I don't know if I can say it, but it's probably gonna be out by this time to come out. But just stay close to CBC Gem for some cool, fun spin-off shows and whatnot. And yeah,
hello.
some fun stuff.
Hello, we get the dunk-offs getting the Sunny Weaves dunk-offs getting its own special, baby.
DeMar DeRozan got a bake, baby. Let's see it.
Hi, I'm your host, Sonny Weems.
So I'm Sonny Weems. I'm in Russia, and I'm baking you a cake.
Follow me.
Sonny Weems, Money Dreams. Okay, that's it. That's the pod. Thank you so much, everyone that's been listening, and really fun episode. And make sure to check these dudes out. Thank you, Maddie. And if you feel like we're done, please give me those words I crave so much. Okay.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network.